What's up, you guys? This is Barrel Slaughter 7, back with Dark Souls, and we are just about to travel into the area known as the Valley of the Drakes. This area can only be opened with the Master Key, the Master Key is basically a huge one-up in the game. First of all, you start off by getting souls, which is always nice, because everyone likes souls in this game. The path is kind of narrow here. You can go right and go right into Blighttown. There are enemies over here with giant-ass clubs. They just have a shit ton of health. You can honestly run by them. They're really, really slow. They're really stupid as well. They're not smart. They just have a shit ton of health and roar like idiots. And whenever they roar, it's really easy to kill them. But here is a much more terrifying thing over here. He doesn't look terrifying right now because he's asleep. When you go over here, you will see a dragon, an undead dragon, guarding his fatty loot. You want his fatty loot, of course, because you are an undead. First of all, the shield and the sword there. The sword takes 14 faith for me to use, and as you can see, my faith is not high enough. It is currently right here. Without enough faith, the weapon's basically pointless to me. And that shield, I don't like either. The shield's so much better for parrying. I like it. And if you grab one of those, it'll wake him up. But if you grab this, it's just souls, and it won't wake him up. So I'm just gonna quietly walk away with my loot. And there are lightning drakes over here, which are honestly just such big assholes. They're fast, they're strong, they have a lot of health, and they don't give a lot of souls. They're not worth killing, they are only worth avoiding. And at this level, it would be really stupid of me to even attempt to fight one. This is why they're called lightning drakes. I may have just killed myself doing this, but I might be able to escape. Or I died. Because lightning drakes are terrifying. I went into a little hole trying to grab some humanity, but this game is really, really hard. And basically getting that humanity basically said, congratulations, you got a humanity. Now you're going to need it to come back to life. I'm going to go down there and grab my recovery because one small feature in this game that most people don't know but is really, really important. Every time you die and don't pick up your recovery, the game gets like 0.01% harder. Just everything gets harder. The enemies get stronger, they get more health, they just get more clever. It's just more difficult to play the game. So if you do it a shit ton of times, the reason why you feel like you're going to be doing worse is because the enemies are doing better. I don't like losing my recovery, neither should anyone else. The recovery has the humanity that I, of course, want, and the souls that I dropped when I died. Not picking up those souls is a big middle finger to you, especially when they're guarded by a big-ass boss that it's bluntly obvious you know you can't fight. So I'm going to go back and grab these, and I'm going to have to grab my recovery before I try and grab those things from the undead dragon again, because honestly, the undead dragon has two moves. He will either breathe a bunch of purple shit all over the ground that'll poison you and hit you a shit ton of times, but honestly doesn't do a lot of damage, or he'll swipe you, which will insta-kill you, which is never fun. If you roll at the correct time, on the other hand, you can totally avoid it, surprisingly enough, because invincibility frames. Invincibility frames. Everyone likes invincibility frames. He's still sleeping, just taking his nap. I'll grab my recovery, and I will grab these things when I come back, if I manage to get away from the lightning drake. The rings and shit over on the other side are honestly unimportant, guarded by shit and lightning drakes, which are honestly too strong for me. They're just way too strong. I would barely be able to pierce their health bar. So it'd be stupid to fight them. My recovery, I think, is just sitting in... I think my recovery is just sitting in there. So I'm just going to have to run by him and get out of here. That is the best way you can handle that situation. Because otherwise he would just shove his face in the doorway so you can get out and then lightning you to death. Which is the worst way to go. When you look at death right in the face and go, how do I get out of this? And you just can't. I also got a bunch of fatty souls, which I'm going to break apart and level myself up with. I might want to consider leveling up my faith to use that sword, but I don't intend on this being a faith account. Thieves are known for dex, and dex is just speed. Dex is really good for using bows and complex weapons like rapiers and katanas, which are good for combos. If you can manage to slice someone up with one big fat combo, you'll pretty much just rip them apart. But strength is known for really big weapons, pretty much like any weapon with weight, which is basically any weapon, you can improve with the strength scaling. I'm fairly certain even this thing, yeah, it has an E strength scaling, but a B dex scaling. So, dex is super important in this game. It also decreases sorcery casting time if you have enough of it, otherwise it really doesn't make a difference. And, I honestly should have probably not turned myself human when I wanted to go grab these things, because as soon as you grab one of the things, the dragon will wake up and swipe. If you roll at the perfect time, he won't kill you, but that's really, really hard to do. So I'm just going to have to get really lucky. The shield that he's guarding is really good at protecting against flame, the dragon shield, dragon crest, something like that. And the sword that he has is a faith weapon, and any faith weapons that there are in the game usually have a minimum of a B ranking. If they have a C ranking, then they can usually be upgraded to a B. But if you want like a hardcore faith weapon, you need an A. This guy's still asleep. Hitting him would be a stupid idea because I'd barely nick his health, and it would just make him look more intimidating. I made it! Escape. That's the purple shitty sprays. Okay, that was really lucky of me. Okay, so now I'm just gonna get out of here because honestly that dragon is too intimidating for me. The main way I beat him, which is really just kind of dick the way I beat him, is I sit at an angle in which he can't hit me because he can't move from that one spot, and I just spam him with arrows. It's hilarious, but it works. Every time. This is a 3,000 soul, I think? 2,000. Damn it! Game fucked me. Well, I'm just gonna have to wait for this shit. I'll just do this without Xbox Live, because my Xbox is just being fucky with its internet connection. So I'm just gonna not do anything related to Xbox Live. I'm just going to play the storyline like I personally intended to. Hopefully I still have those souls from the soul I crushed. If not, I still hope I have the soul. Yeah, I have the souls. This soul is also quite plentiful in souls. I'm gonna improve my faith for the main reason that the weapon is just straight up stronger than the weapon I currently have. The weapon I currently have is not good. It's mainly good in... Actually, no, I'll keep this weapon. I'll just improve my dex so it does better. Yeah. I thought for a second that that the soul changed depending on what you upgraded, but that's a bit absurd. A lot of dex. I now use this knife better. Shank shank. Over here is an area full of skeletons. I would go and fight them, but it would honestly just be stupid. Because their health... Well, they have 200 health apiece, which isn't too bad for me. But their defense is so high, I do like 10 damage. And with this knife, I do like 8. So it would be a waste of time. Because they would just keep tanking my hits and go, "You're such a bitch. What are you doing?" So I'm going to go to the area I'm originally intended to go to, where a bunch of other hoes are, and they can drop me shit that I want. Where's that thing over here? I think it's in here. Yeah, it's in here. There is a weapon in here that's really, really useful. Fire bombs. At the very beginning, they are very, very useful. Fire bombs are basically like giant flaming grenades in this, which are always fun. Here is where a couple of characters will be later when I unlock them, when I rescue them and shit. So, the first hoe. Hollowman, but with armor, a shitty cracked shield, and a terrible broken sword. Hollowmen are really, really weak. It's the only reason why there's plenty of them, because fighting guys that were as strong as me would... it would be Dark Souls to do something like that, but it would just be too Dark Souls. Come at me, bro. Shank. This weapon does extra critical damage, so it's really good at stomach stabs. This guy's stupid. I also do extra fall damage. Shank. Ouch. Bitch. Get slaughtered. I'm gonna have to conserve my Estus, because that fire bomber up there, first of all, when Hollowmen are fire bombers, they don't run out of fire bombs. And this guy with a battle axe. In this game, battle axes, if you aren't using them, are rape. But I am more rape. Sometimes they'll drop things when they die. Come at me, bro. Sometimes they'll drop things when they die, and... oh god! Okay, that could have been much worse. I just fell off the staircase and didn't die. 10 out of 10. Woo! Corpses! That soul is only worth 200. It's the worst kind of soul. Toasty! Here is a thing over here that you can buy later in the game, but you have to defeat the first boss to do it. The first, like, actual boss. This ring, what this ring will do is it will basically unlock the ability to talk to someone who's kind of badass as fuck. And, you can equip only 2 rings in this game, which I find kind of gay. You should be able to equip, like, 10, because, you know, you have a bunch of fingers. But by that logic, you'd just be able to have a shit ton of pendants on at the same time, and that wouldn't make any sense. There is loot pretty much everywhere in Dark Souls at the very beginning, but after you play for a bit, you'll come back and realize that everything's pretty damn boring. There is a rat over here. Rats, surprisingly enough, have a chance of dropping humanity of all things. The chance may be small, but if you have a ring later in the game that increases your item discovery, this thing. Item discovery is really, really important. If you have 1 stray humanity on your body, you'll gain 50 item discovery, and for every humanity after that, you'll gain a bit more. The reason why item discovery is super important is it basically increases your chance to collect loot from enemies. There's a ring that boosts it up to 300, and there's also a helmet. There's like a bunch of rings in this game, a bunch of cool things. This gate's just a big middle finger, because you can't go through it right now. Might as well chug this back. And, the first strategically grouped form of Hollowman. That one got cut up. This one, I cut up. But naturally, I'm supposed to run up to him, and then his bro's supposed to throw a firebomb at me, but I'm honestly too smart for that. And that guy's supposed to jump out at you when you try and hit the firebomb guy, but I'm also too smart for him. There isn't any loot in this room. I just like destroying the barrels, because I'm the barrel slaughterers. I destroy all the barrels. Many dead barrels. A location you can go to down here that most people know of, but not everyone knows of, is you can just fall down here and land on this. Then there are a bunch of classic Hollowmen. They just have a bunch of broken straight swords. The Hollowmen are absolutely retarded. They are as stupid as they get. They barely know how to fight. They have to... Their combos are either weak, weird-ass flurries of of their arms just flailing around. And they're really, really not strong. They're just so weak. They're as weak as they come in Dark Souls. No one's weaker. My dex is high enough to one-shot them now, which makes me happy. Because if by level like 30 you can't one-shot Hollow Man, I'm sorry, you just can't Dark Souls. Or you're a dex warrior that two-shots them. So, what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to grab this piece of loot, and these guys are supposed to come up and ambush you, but you can choose to do this. And knock them off. One will get knocked off, and then the other will go, oh no, my buddy got knocked off. And then the other one will come up and go, oh no, my buddy got knocked off. Ah, but I forgot about that other one. So you drink an Estus, and then you shake those. I forgot about the fourth one. I remembered that there was 4, I just didn't remember its location. Humanity's down here. There's a certain covenant you can, if you, like, basically keep all your humanity, I got random souls. If you keep all your humanity, then you can basically, push it all into this one covenant all at once. And there's a guy you can save later, if you use all this humanity, that you can later use to fight the final boss with. But that's only if you go through with this. If you don't, then he'll die beforehand, which is never fun, because he's a great guy. Dark Souls will naturally taunt you by going, hey, you can jump to there, you just gotta keep trying. But there's another spot that you don't jump to it from. I've tried a couple times, and oh yeah, that big-ass dragon. I've seen this so many times, it doesn't even faze me anymore. Okay, he just jumped like 15 feet, which made no sense. Drink? My dex basically makes me strong enough to smash. Dex makes you faster. Wug. That crossbowman's annoying. An absolutely awful shield's in here. Woo! It's really, really bad. This crossbowman's annoying as fuck. And a bonfire. A bonfire. Bonfires are amazing. Everyone likes bonfires. This thing right here, it's amazing. I will crush one so that I can kindle it. I always like having a kindled flame, because always at first you will walk up to it, and it's supposed to give you, it's supposed to increase the maximum Estus you have to 5, but if you kindle it, you further increase that, making it go from 5 to 10, which increases it by 5 every humanity. I will level up my dex, because dex. This guy is a dick. That somehow isn't dead yet. Shank. Yeah, you go through your dumb combo. The worst shield in the entire game, but the only other shield other than this one that can do a more badass version of parry. Get chopped up. These guys, if you're too low level, can actually form a significant challenge for you. But what you basically do is you wait for them to drop their guard. You just have to wait, and then backstab. They are very stupid. That's an advantage of Hollow Man. There's one guy over here that's supposed to make himself look badass by breaking all those boxes, but really just gets himself killed by revealing his location. And then there's this guy, the first merchant. Alright, seems like I'm going to end off here, and this guy is the first Hollow Merchant I have ever seen, and he doesn't hold anything too important other than arrows, which I used to kill the dragon, but that's not important. So, have a nice day, and I hope you all learned something from this game.